Okay, so Al, everybody talks about GMPs, but you live them here. Can you explain what GMPs really are?
Well, if you look on people's websites, you'll see little symbols of GMP, which is an abbreviation for Good Manufacturing Practices. And cGMP is Current Good Manufacturing Practices. Okay. But it basically is an overview design of how you will run your company and what standards you will adhere to. It doesn't give you all the specifics. So this is the foreign GMP. It basically says, you know, you will have a cleanliness program that is second to none. So we will put together the cleanliness program, and it'll be this thick.
This is from the FDA, right?
This is an outline that you use. You are in compliance with the FDA's current manufacturing practices. It's CFR 21 Part 111, and this is the mandate for their authority to inspect a manufacturer. And these are the basic things that you need to have, and it depends on the level of your company, but a lot of these things people have not done for years. We've had a GMP that is a pharmaceutical-based one, and we'll discuss that later. It's based on another drug agency from Australia, right? But you have it's kind of like the owner's manual that comes with the car. It says change your brake fluid every 20,000 miles, change your oil every 5,000 miles. It doesn't say how to take that oil filter off or everything about loosening and bleeding the brakes. That comes in with the SOP, and the GMP is important, but when people put it out as being we're GMP certified, it really doesn't mean anything. It's whether you're actually doing the work that backs up your GMP and you have the documentation for it and you're doing it right. So
this is just the beginning.
It's the beginning. Yeah. The SOPs, standard operating procedures, are what are important. Now, I'm just going to hand you a few of the foreign ones as I go along.
Great.
Here's the general company GMP SOP master. So this is the outline of all of the things that are involved in our SOPs.
It looks like that there's people have signed. They can't see this, but I can see that people have all signed off on all of these things, right?
You have
this is reviewed.
Yes, processing work, and then you have your finalized documents, and it has to go through different steps and procedures. People have to review it, but we actually have an SOP on how to write an SOP. We have SOPs on training and how to write an SOP on training. So we'll just kind of skim through these very quickly.
The SOP and the
SOP master. Here's one of my favorites. This is the 15-pound manufacturing SOP. So this has everything to do with every piece of equipment, how it's cleaned, how it's maintained, everything in here, all the requirements. And it all is completely documented, and you have to go through and verify that these things work and make sure that everything is done in the right process.
So this is why we saw the guys walking around in spacesuits, meticulously scrubbing the little gears and all that stuff.
We'll talk a little bit about that later on as far as some of the things that are involved in what we do that a lot of companies don't do, and we've done forever, but other companies just don't do. You have calibration of your SOP master for calibration, your facilities, everything that's involved in the envelope of the building. I have these all upside down. We have human resources, tech services. You go through and you just keep going through all of these things. You even have an SOP for customer service because they have to know how to, if they have a customer complaint, the lid is not down all the way, there's a seal broken, someone had an upset stomach. We have to go through and document all this. We have any customer complaint files for the FDA. They come in and they can review all of these things.
How many thousands of hours of work is involved in making?
There are probably hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of time involved in this, and you're always looking for things that you're going to keep adding and updating and changing. Here's the safety master for safety in the building.
Important.
Keep putting these upside down. I guess I'm not that bright. The receiving, the operations SOP master. You have your QA, which is quality assurance, and your QC, which is quality control. Different things. That's the master for them. Then we have.
You've got a whole different box.
A whole box for this stuff. Yeah. Then you have your laboratory. And again, more laboratory. This is analytical, quality control, more laboratory. This is everything that has to do in the laboratory.
By the way, folks, these are not just blank pages. This is not fake stuff that he's this is heavy binders full of amazing information.
This is what a real SOP should look like, and this is what you would present to an inspecting agency, whether it's the FDA or an agency from another country that is a regulatory agency that you want to be selling your product in their country. Mm-hmm. So these are things that they would go through and they would review. See if I can do this without crushing the computer. No, there's another 3 of them here. We have packaging, we have inventory, purchasing, and we have equipment maintenance logs and how you maintain all of these things. So this is what is involved in a factory, much more than just GMP. The GMP will have your basic outline and say you must have a program in place in the laboratory to calibrate every scale. And then you have to document and validate that calibration. And then you have to have certain people who review and inspect this and make sure it's done. It's only a few lines in here. So you'll have 10 pages, 15 pages in this book to take care of the follow-through of these 3 lines of text in your GMP. Yeah. So this is what it's really about.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, just the packaging one is very important to me because your packaging is impeccable. When we get pallets of your product, it's done in a particular way, and so I can only imagine that flows through to the laboratory and everything else.
It becomes very intricate because some of the things that are important are released for sale, which means that you've gone through and reviewed every single thing to make sure that this product is done right, even to the labeling, cartoning, and shrink seals that go around it. And there are times we're downstairs in labeling, and they have to maintain a complete control of the labels. Every label has to be accounted for, and they're 1 label short. They will open 1,500 bottles to find that a label you've had 2 labels that have gone onto 1 bottle, and they've overlapped so perfectly you couldn't see it on the inspection line. And we may end up with 2 hours or 3 hours worth of time to find the 1 label so that we can reconcile, according to our SOP, that packaging department's records. So this is the kind of thing that we've done this for a long time, and now with Part 111, which is the new regulation by the FDA, a lot of people are going to be pulled from the dark ages into modern manufacture and the way that these things should be done. And it's the way things should have been done for a long time. And in the dietary supplement industry, some people have gotten slightly bad or tarnished reputations for lack of attempting to do good quality.